It's 9 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We didn't even need to fill a cup and do that.
I don't know if everybody's had a chance to go over the minutes, but I'd take a motion to approve those.
That's over.
They got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second? Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. The claims list. Everybody have a chance to go over that?
Did we happen to check with Standing Rock to see?
I was the right in. He's learning with it.
Becky cuts the check, I'll take it to them, I'll give it to them when they give me a check. Yep, that's, I talked to her, right, that's what he.
Did you get the claims list?
On that grinding.
What time did you send it out?
Good.
That'll definitely help out with their deal on that.
Yeah,
It was there, I don't remember.
It was the minutes and the claims.
You got any more to grind out there?
I move for approval.
not this year, unless they can bring a tire shredder.
Okay, got a motion on the floor to approve the claims. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. I guess there's people here I don't really know, so I guess we'll start over here to the left and introduce yourself.
Dan Richards, I'm park manager over at Indian Creek, Hidden Woods, and then I manage Pollock up there too.
Okay.
Ryan Bruner, I'm the Commissioner of School and Public Lands for the state.
Mike Corneliuson, land agent, South Dakota Office of School and Public Lands.
Doug Delaware, Southwood Game Fish Parks Conservation Officer.
Emily Stiegelmeyer, farmer in Walworth County.
And Joy Moore, retired sheriff.
Ronnie Lindner.
Okay, I think everybody knows everybody else. Okay. Okay, Emily, I guess you got the floor right now.
Good morning. Got something for each of the commissioners. I'm here to make a special request, a very limited request for a special fire permit, special burning permit. I understand that 2 weeks ago you imposed a countywide fire ban, and I always respect that, okay? So I'm asking this for a couple of very specific reasons, and as I said, for a very limited purpose. The week before the ban was imposed, I had just started burning the brush from my tree renovation project. And unlike the rest of the county, I had received 2 inches of rain, the 2 weeks before that, and since then have had more, so that in my yard, I have received over 3 inches of rain. And I guess that's unusual for the rest of the county. Anyway, the need for burning the brush and cleaning this up is a time-sensitive issue because I need to get it out of the place where it was accumulated from the tree cleanup and then disc it before the regrowth becomes woody, because then it becomes tire punching difficult. So I'm asking to burn one brush pile, and it's a big brush pile that will take several days of burning depending on how big a window I have each time. And in the center of my yard, which you can see the picture there at the top, it's approximately 50 feet in diameter, gravelled, nothing else in the way there, with water hydrant and hoses immediately available. And so I'm just asking special permission to burn a small enough pile at a time to absolutely keep it under control, but to get this brush pile cleaned up so that I can disc the regrowth down and not have to start over again hiring somebody to clean up woody stuff. And before I burn, I always check on the National Weather Service. The chart below is what they call their activities planner. And besides the precipitation and temperatures and that, they have a chart for the wind, and you can go forward about a week. That's the second line on this chart. And I do not burn if wind is gonna be over 10 miles per hour. Even in the protection of my trees, that's just the way we've done it, and I always have water out there. So just making a request to be able to burn this one brush pile in this one place in my yard, you know, because I have had more rain than the rest of the county. Thank you. Does anybody have questions?
Where's this at?
Just at the north junction, like 3 miles north of town here.
It's off to the north there, of the junction, northeast.
Yeah, right at the divided highway, there's a road that goes off the highway up to my place.
Now, you don't think you would ever need assistance from the fire department or anything?
We have never in the past, and I mean, you watch the little sparks go up, and they always go out before, you know, they come anywhere close to anything, so, I shouldn't, and especially if I keep, you know, just bring a little bit at a time and keep the fire in a small contained area rather than, I mean, where the brush pile is, I would not burn it because there are too many other trees and things around, and it's too big to burn all at once. I want to burn it a little bit at a time so that I have absolute control of it. When I was burning it before the ban was put on, by the time I would bring, you know, another bucket full into the fire, it had burned down again, and I was actually having troubles keeping it burning because I was feeding it so slowly. So there should not be any need. We always like to know that there is backup with the fire department, but we have never had an issue because we have kept it under control and then always douse it before we leave the area, you know, and shut down for the night. So I understand, I truly honor the fire bans in the county. So I know I'm asking a special favor.
My suggestion would be to call the fire department when you're gonna do it and let them know that you are gonna
I
do
have
it.
done that in the past too.
Just so they have people that are around. I know
Yep.
I'm on Glenham Fire Department, people call us all the time and
Yeah.
say that they are gonna burn,
Yeah,
just so we know that there's gonna be a few people around if we have to come out.
right.
But other than that, I don't see a problem with it.
That'd be great, no such thing as special committee, right? I mean,
You can grant permission to,
when does this get done? I mean,
you, like by motion, you would do that. What do you think, Jen?
I wouldn't say there would have to be special permission just for liability purposes.
I heard that.
Well, I would say that the burn bans are put in place to protect the residents of the county. And they protect, it's our obligation and responsibility to protect other residents from unfriendly fires. Every fire, when it started, is considered a friendly fire, but many things happen. You've had rain in your situation, but a live ember can live overnight or longer.
Well, and, you know,
depending on how
I know what
and
you're
the
saying.
wind can carry this, and your intentions can be good. But let me ask you, is it imperative that you burn this now?
So that I can get it out of the area that it is and get it disked,
Can
get
you
that.
load it? Can you load it and take it somewhere where it's out of the way so you
The
can
only-
establish your growth?
The only place that it can be taken to is outside the trees where we already have a pile that is bigger than is safe to burn ourselves. So, it's really not very practical to move it and just wait.
At times of, when you have an elevated fire danger, it would be irresponsible, in my opinion, to grant anyone to light a fire.
And that's why I'm
And
asking
this is
permission,
not-
and not just doing it.
This is something that can be delayed, in my opinion. You don't have to burn this right now. There are crops out there that are ready to go, and they're dried. We have wind that come up suddenly overnight, in an hour or two. And I think it behooves all of us to think about, you know, what can happen. And fires today are very, very dangerous. They usually grow very rapidly. And you're asking the fire departments to put their life on the line. Really, literally, you are. These fires can be huge in a matter of an hour. So I am against it. That'd be my vote is I don't think we should do it. I don't think the commission should grant special privileges to, it's our obligation and responsibility to protect everyone. And this is not it's not imperative that you do this now. And you haven't stated that it is. So my vote would be no.
Would, is there any stipulations for a burn ban that they can take it out to the dump and for no charge of trees and stuff out there?
We just passing the problem along, because we're gonna burn it eventually too, and we're bigger, we usually wait for snow to fly, and that hasn't really happened that much in the last couple of years, so we're gonna
Kevin, I
hold off.
haven't seen the file, but I'm guessing it probably isn't even
So
can justify hauling it.
It's a little bit bigger than this room, depending on which way you shape it.
It would take a lot of loads, I'm guessing. Jim, what do you
Well,
think?
it's been accumulated over time. And
No.
it had been taken care of initially.
No,
Absolutely.
this has not been accumulated over time. This is from one specific area where we have renovated the trees that I don't want to add to the accumulated pile. So,
So what do you think, Jim?
This is not easy. I really don't have a problem with the amount of rain that she has got,
For her burning?
yeah, in my mind.
And, you know, when I have looked at this, activities planner from NOAA, you can see those places where the wind is likely to come up, you know, and shift. And it has been very, very accurate for all the times I've used it over the last 10+ years, so,
You know, you'll be-
I'm ultra cautious
You'll
with
be
it.
liable for any fire, whether there's a burn ban or not, if it gets in the neighbors.
That's the biggest
Well-
thing with a burn ban is the liability factor.
Right, and
Let me just add one more thing here. There are other requests. You grant this or you're gonna grant the others?
I know a couple others that are coming in.
The country club had lost a lot of trees, mature trees, in this recent windstorm. They've got them piled out in the field, side hill. They wanna burn. So I haven't seen the trees, but I imagine there's some diameter like that. Do you have any larger trees?
no,
Yours are
this
just
is,
twigs?
this has been trimmed off, it's the brush, it's the small twigs.
It's easy for you to haul that away.
Not easy for me to haul.
But at any rate, are you gonna grant them permission to burn?
Well, one thing, they probably won't be able to burn them, now they're gonna have to let them dry. I assume your brush is all dry and,
Yeah, because a lot of it was dead trees or dying trees and so, and when it's small like that, it dries down.
And this is all gravel around where you're
This
gonna
is
be.
all gravel around for a minimum of 50 feet diameter. So, and
Well, I guess I think in my opinion, every request like, something like that would be, is different.
yeah.
Like the country club, I would say, you know, that'd be a little bit different. That's how I look at it. Everything is different.
Well, in my mind, the country club's gonna have to wait till them trees dry out. You know, you see lots of trees piled in fields and waiting for them to dry enough to burn. Because them new, a tree that just grows down now that's nice and green is not gonna burn next week.
I guess I think we should just vote on it to see if we want to request this one.
I would add one more thing too, is that 50 foot is not a great deal of distance when you have a a live ember that's carried by a 40-mile-an-hour wind. 50 foot is insignificant.
I won't, sir, I
So,
won't burn
we as a
when the wind
commission
is
have
blowing.
a response. I know it's not popular. It's unpopular to deny requests from the public. But you're in this chair because you agree to do a job, and part of that job is a responsibility to protect everybody in the county.
I know you might have had 2 inches out there, but it's been so spotty right
Well,
across the
and
road.
I
that
understand
they-
that, I
they
will
could
honor whatever decision you guys make, I just wanted to ask.
and
I
really-
wouldn't think of lifting it if Emily hadn't got 3 inches of rain in the last, whatever,
Like
week.
3 weeks now, because the 2 inches came before the ban was imposed, and then I've had another inch plus.
But how many other places in the county have had that?
Yeah.
We can go a mile one way or another and
I know.
they have nothing.
Well, even just in town, and I know the day that I got the 2, it was right less than that. I understand that I'm asking a special favor, so, and I will honor whatever you guys decide, so.
Even though you have 2 inches of rain, a wheat field can be dry in a couple hours and very flammable.
Why don't we just vote on it and see?
I'd like a roll call vote.
Gonna have a motion on the floor first. I'd need a motion to honor Emily's request.
I make a motion to deny it.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion? Here none, I'll roll call. Kevin,
Aye.
Dwayne,
Aye.
Jim,
Nay.
Dave,
Yeah.
well, I thought long and hard about it because I'm the one that voted against the burn ban. So I guess my opinion is if she follows the guidelines, I'll go along with burning.
So I will notify the local fire department, and I will only burn in that area and only that brush pile. And only when the conditions are safe with, no wind forecast, with, within a big enough block of time to be able to burn it down and put it out. So,
Whenever we do that, we notify 911.
Yeah,
Dispatch.
yeah, that's the easier way to get hold of somebody. Yeah.
And I'll need a motion to approve it.
I so move.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion passed.
Thank you all for very serious consideration, I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll do the other one. Okay. All right, then we'll go on to number 6, Molstead Lake.
I guess I can start off, I was approached by, somebody that, would like to see the park open back up. And I talked to Ronnie, got his input, he would kinda like to see it open too. I got with the Game Fish and Parks, and, there's just a few things that, I talked to Dwayne, cause he was on the board that, when they closed it, and I got his input of why they closed it, it was for safety hazards. And we discussed it with, Game Fish and Parks people, and I think there's a possible solution to open it back up. That lake has been stocked for 6 years in a row now.
6 years.
And, why are we spending the money why is Game Fish and Parks spending the money if we only have very limited access to the park? So, I invited Ronnie to come in, voice his opinion, Doug and the rest of them about, who would be responsible for what and what we could do to take away the liability factors out there to open that back up to the public.
I guess why was it closed, I guess?
Well, about 4 years ago, the commission at that time was concerned about several issues, including the liability. The liability not only of the facilities, the building, the roof was caving in and there was no repair, no planned repair for it. The catwalk that goes across the spillway was considered to be unsafe. And one of the big things was the inadequate barrier between the park grounds and the creek below the dam. There was a barbed wire fence that was in the grass and in the weeds. And I think Sheriff Moore would bear me out that that is a tremendous liability for someone unfamiliar with that park driving into that and dropping down 30 or 40 feet into the water. So those are some of the liability issues. And then just as a practical matter, the usage of that park was pretty much limited to party groups, young people, underage people partying at the location. But as far as other uses, there was an access there, and still is, an access to that lake north of the park. And it's a pretty good access. They actually have a ramp and they also have a dock. I don't know if the Game Fish and Parks is responsible for it, but it's there. It, in my opinion, could be improved. And the other thing that's there is a toilet. Is that gone now?
It's gone.
Excuse me?
It's gone.
It's there,
It's gone.
yeah. But it
He
isn't.
said it's gone.
Hmm?
He said it's gone.
The toilet and the north access?
It's been removed, yes.
It's been removed. Well, that's too bad. It should have been taken care of. Because there are some people that use that lake, do use the north access, which is pretty good. The other thing was, having been involved in the maintenance and cleanup of that park through the Sportsman Association, that we always had an issue with the roads. The roads were potholes, and I myself have pulled your mother out of a pothole on that road. So the road wasn't being maintained. There was growth trees that were just all over and sometimes on the road. They weren't cared for, they weren't pruned. That was always a problem. In addition to the buildings and the shelter, the picnic tables, and those things were rotten and falling apart. We did paint them, we scraped them and painted them, but it's pretty hard to maintain a rotten picnic table. And because of the access north of there and the liability and the issues that I've just mentioned there, the toilets, the liability of someone driving into the creek, the catwalk, the fact that there is no parking, that there really isn't a boat ramp in the park. There's just a bunch of weeds that have grown up and it's silted in and it's kind of a slough, what it looks like to me. So considering all those things, it was agreed by the commission at that time that because of the limited use and the extreme liability of the people that were using it, it would be better to close it and use the north access. So that's what was done. That's why it was closed.
Is this a county-owned park? I've never been there.
It is, but the state had very little to do with it. They
Okay.
were,
And Doug could probably answer that. Doug or these other guys could answer that better than anybody, because they know
But at that time, the game fishing parks were insignificant to have maintenance and care of that park.
Well,
They had
even
other-
fish they can't go in and maintain property we don't own. So the maintenance,
What's-
just the maintenance issue, as far as that probably isn't gonna change much. The thing you gotta look at is it's an access for people to shore fish. That north access is a boating access. You got something that's half as wide as this room for people to shore fish over there. And there's a lot of people who like to go out there and shore fish, and like to take their kids out there and shore fish. And there isn't anything better than taking your kids out to a place where they catch bass and bluegill and perch off the bank. You take a 5-year-old to the river to fish walleyes in July, and they're not gonna wanna fish anymore. You take them to Molstead to fish bass and perch and bluegill, and they're gonna catch fish one right after another. We're so limited on our access to that lake for people to shore fish, it's unreal, because it's all reeds around, you can't get to any open water. The dam face is all there.
Okay, so can
Not
can you
looking at
guys
that.
explain the public lands and easements and that stuff for everybody, so everybody understands who's got what as far as easements, own the property and
A lot of the stuff with, and we have, through School and Public Lands, we have 100 dams across the state where we have an easement for the actual dam itself. And so the dam face, the spillway, all of that is under School and Public Lands. There's an easement there from, it was 1939, to construct the dam, to build the dam and maintain a 12-foot public access easement all the way around it, which doesn't help with some of the shore fishing issues with the cattails and the like, but we have an easement, we still have an easement responsibility for maintaining and repairing, the spillway and the actual structure itself. And it's, we don't have an engineer in our office, but DENR has an engineer, and so it gets inspected by that engineer on a kind of 4 or 5 year basis. They inspect it for reports and any repairs that need to be done. There was an easement for the park, and my understanding, I have to ask Mike, Mike's been with us since 1979, the park, that easement then was transferred to the county, and so it's not an ownership, but as Game Fish and Park said, they don't own that land, the park is there by an easement, and so the land underneath that easement would be owned by Mr. Lindeman. He owns that land, I believe he pays property taxes on that land.
And the lake.
And the lake, but the land, the park exists via an easement, and so there's no ownership change there, but through this easement, there's a right. The rights belong to the county to allow or to have public access there if you were to choose to do so.
How long is this
Perpetual.
Yeah, it's perpetual, it's from the 1939, from the federal government to the state.
It's 99 years.
It's actually a permanent easement, it's not a 99-year easement, it's a
The
permanent.
contract says it's 99 years when we bought the property. We got about 20 years left put in.
Your contract that you bought from Molstead's?
Well, when Dad bought the land. The contract on the original paper says 99 leagues, or a dollar easement for 99 years. It doesn't say permanent.
Yeah, well, maybe afterwards, maybe we'll run over the registered deeds here and pull that, because all of our easements for our dams are from the feds, and they're to the state, and those ones would be perpetual. So we'll maybe need to check that, but we don't have any that are non-perpetual. And if they gave the feds a perpetual easement, even if your contract said 99 years, I'm not an attorney, but I would imagine that the feds, given the state of perpetual one, might supersede, the land sale contract if they'd already given those rights away, but we'll check that out.
I guess what I'm not quite understanding is then what all Mr. Martin said here, I mean, has any of this changed, or is it still the same way? I mean, is it still all over the road?
It's just the way it was when it was closed. There's gonna have to be some cleanup done. I guess from our wildlife division standpoint, we're not looking to turn it into a park, we're looking to make it a lake access area where there is a picnic table and fire pits and bathrooms and shelters and stuff like that.
Be
So that you
dangerous.
go in the park and access the lake to go fish.
and
That's what we're looking for.
it'd be day use only. You would designate it as day use
Use
only.
area.
So then, then you guys are gonna clean that all up then, or who cleans
That's
it up?
That's something we gotta work on, I think, between the county and the state. I mean, we can,
Nobody has used Lake Molstead more than I have. I used to go fishing there every night, 15 years ago, before the spillway went out and the big bass were gone. But I fished there every night. Most of the time I was alone.
yeah.
It was one of the best fisheries, bass fisheries in the whole state, and I was there alone. And nobody can tell, has more enthusiasm for young juveniles to learn the joys of fishing than I do. And I agree that a small fishery is very important to the younger people. So you don't have to sell me on that, but you do have to address the liability issues. And that none of you have done when the park was open, and nor did the commission or the county. The liability issues are huge. You need that barrier so you don't have people driving off into that trip. You got the catwalk across that dam, which is, if you use it, why don't you maintain it? You know, if it's part of your business. As far as the toilet, you know, be careful where you walk. You know, and if you have a toilet, then we know from past experiences, somebody's got to take care of it. You have to clean it, you have to provide tissue, there's a lot of things you gotta do. So if you open the park, remember that the county is responsible for the liability, which you can take care of if you want to do that. And I don't know how much authority the county would have over that catwalk, whether they could remove it, replace it, I don't know. But that would be, it's used by the state. Let me just finish. And then as far as maintenance of the roads and the trees that the wind blows here and there and whatever, you know, to make it a nice place to go. And then remember too, that even though we desire that the young people would go out there and fish and that the parents might take them out and do that, that hasn't happened in the past, in the recent past before this was closed. The usage was pretty much limited to a party bunch, to the young, to the juveniles. And that was evident from the debris that was gathered by the organization that I belong to, which, by the way, the county paid. So if you're gonna do it, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, but you need to make improvements. Who's gonna do it and who's gonna care for it when you're done? The other thing is that building, is that on the historic register? It is or isn't?
It is.
It is. So what are you gonna do with it?
Well, we're gonna fix it if you ever get,
Who's we?
Let Mike, that's
never mind.
Mike, why don't you enlighten us a little bit?
You wanna come up here and talk to us?
Sure. State of South Dakota, not me. Did make, the state of South Dakota, not me, made repairs to Molstead Dam. I was involved in it. So we did repair the spillway. And to the point that we have to look at the catwalk, or whatever you wanna call it, we can look at that. But our primary is the dam and the spillway. Whether that catwalk's there or not, I mean, that doesn't preclude us from going all the way around the dam to look at it. We do need to access it periodically, and so there's been an argument that we're trespassing or breaking the law by walking in on that road to look at the dam. We've looked at that through the AG's office. We're not really wanting to go lock horns with local law enforcement because we're looking at a dam we're responsible for, but we do have to go in there and look at the dam because we have responsibility on that part. And that has nothing at all to do with the fishing. But we have addressed the dam, and we have tried to address what we can with the dam safety and repairs to the dam. And because it's not our park, you know, we didn't step in on any park tows there or any county tows there. We've been to meetings with the counties, and the state is not interested in trying to lock horns with the county. We want to cooperate with the county. The other thing, and I would like to point out that we have worked with the county do put in culverts there, paid for some culverts for access into the dam. That's functional. The county put some money into that. We reimburse the county for some of the work and time they did there when we were doing the project. We do need an access there, and it's imperative that we have an access there.
Well, you're addressing all your comments to me.
Well, I'm not,
But
you were
here's the thing,
addressing the
and I'm-
comments to us too, and I'm just trying to
Exactly
direct
right.
them.
I understand that the state has a right of way to that dam. That's never been an issue. And as far as trespassing, you never heard that from me.
I didn't
Nobody's
say I
ever
did.
accused.
I did not accuse you.
Let me
Let's
finish.
just get back to the point.
Nobody has ever accused you that I am aware of trespassing. We know that you have access to that. And I also know that you made repairs to the dam. That after it was gone, you put in a
My
dam.
apologies to Mr. Martin that you're so upset about this, but I've even used your firm at different times for appraisal services. So I don't think I have had necessarily an evil, bad, or wicked ways towards you. My apologies. But to the rest of the commission, I'm sorry, but we have been trying to, take care of our responsibility for the dam. And we've put substantial funds and money into it. And as far as looking into the historical register thing, we've looked at that too. It has been applied for a National Historic Register of Places. It could possibly get to that. But also, there's no funds dedicated to repairing or maintaining that. And that basically all centers around the bathhouse. And some fire pits that are at the entry. Now, Mr. Martin, you've been out there, I don't know where the fire pits are, but the bathhouse I know. But, I mean, that's the historic register part, and maybe the sign itself, original sign would be on, eligible with that fieldstone, they've been mortared in, a lot of that goes back to 1939, the WPA days. I don't know, any other questions, I'd be glad to answer you, and
Let me
I'm
ask you
certainly
this,
not
then.
having a problem with you, Mr. Martin.
Is the catwalk a necessity to you?
It is not.
Okay, so it could be removed.
Yes, sir.
But you'd have to have state approval to do that, is that right? Probably.
Well, if it's deemed to be unsafe, we can take it out. We have other catwalks, it's typical where there's a lot of usage, where they have catwalks that some are constructed differently, but the whole mere fact of a catwalk, even the mere fact of a pole ramp sometimes poses liability risks there, but it is not imminent. I talked to Tim Shaw, it is not imminent that we have that catwalk. I mean, if that's what's holding up the deal, I don't think we're gonna have issues with removing it or having it removed. That can be dealt with, at periods of low water, when it's not running, we can get across there and look at it, or we put our waders on and get across there, or walk around it. We would not, and if it comes to construction, we would deal with it anyway differently. It's not a construction thing, so. Actually, any other questions? I'd be glad to answer them.
I was concerned about, he was saying that, if somebody came in there and went over the edge and went down into that, what do you think about that?
Well, they can, I certainly have that situation amazingly at about 25 of the 100 dams where it's unsafe. We put up cables and posts, and some of the users burned up the posts and roasted the cable. But and so now we don't have anything. If they drive over it, they can. For that matter, we could just put a caution there, and I guess that over time, replace the caution. But there's certain liability there, how much you can do to stop it. It wasn't all that long ago that any wire being on the ground is somewhat of a liability. If someone gets tangled up in it. And as we evolve, you guys have had a history, and you know the country, and you're there, you grew up around it, but if other people do show up that have never grown up around a farm or did anything, they may not stop at all for any wire, They will after they run into it a couple times, but it's just the nature of our involvement. But I'm not here totally as a liability person. If you see a problem, I think then we should try to address it the best we can. That's always of help, you know, marking it some way, reflectors, something like that. But I don't know if we can totally help the public. But I mean, our purpose primarily in these is the 100 state-owned dams that we have responsibility and liability for, and we try to maintain them the best we can. So, the dam and the spillway structure. So, I don't know, is that helping you? And I have, for that matter, I can leave with you this printout of, let's see, the National Historic Register commentary stuff, that does deal with, some pictures of black and whites. Anybody wanting this? I had the, state person that deals with these give me this back in 2006. I don't think it would have changed too much, but.
Is it actually listed on the?
It is not, no, but there's an application, she had it on file, here's the application.
Well, I guess Mike and Doug, I guess, in my mind, I'm wondering, okay, to get this open, and you said you wanna work with the county and stuff, what all has to be done, and, I mean, does all this stuff gotta be done? I mean, how are we gonna pay for it and stuff like that? Are you gonna pay part of it, county pays the other part?
Well, I'd have to run that up the chain before I see how much we pay, but I think we could probably come in and assist with getting stuff cleaned up to get it ready to go. I wouldn't say we paid to remove the building or any of that big stuff, but we could probably get some crew help to go out and do, like get the road in mowed, the parking lot mowed, maybe some of the trees trimmed and that stuff, so like Penny said, I don't know, the road is that big an issue, if the trees get trimmed out, where you get a grader in there once a year, where they can go and not bust antennas off the grader. I mean, we go in there once every few years and trim them trees back and probably be able to get by with that as they go, as the county's going by anyway. The liability thing, Jamie, I know like for our wildlife lands, it's gotta be gross negligence for
Pretty much.
us to be liable.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion
Even
on
if-
this as far as gross negligence?
You know, even if we put up as many barriers and signs and all that, somebody stupid is going to do something and we're gonna get sued anyhow. It's just how much exposure do we have? And like Doug was saying, it's gross negligence on us as far as, if there's something that's very obvious that we should have done, then we'll probably be on the hook. If it's not that obvious or it's kind of beyond the scope of what would normally happen, then our liability is gonna be very limited. But no matter what we do, we will not be stopped from being sued. Just because they sue us doesn't mean they're going to win, they're just attempting to go at all the pockets they can go at. Same way with the state of South Dakota and everybody else is gonna get sued.
You're looking at more like an open well or
Yeah,
you know.
and I think when we were closing it last time, I think the main concern is that the maintenance was very limited to the place and it was creating more of nuisance problems with kids going out there and not much supervision and things getting destroyed out there because of the people going out there. You know, now it sounds like you may want to, people want to reevaluate that, but I kind of remember, and Commissioner Martin can correct me, is a lot of it was just that there was a lot of dilapidated things out there that I don't think anyone was going to spend the funds to do. Plus there was maintenance on the road, which the county was like, do we want to continue to do that? Because we are creating kind of a nuisance problem with creating a party area for younger people to go, because it is quiet, it's secluded, and that's where kids are going to go to have their fun and bonfires. Would you say that's kind of fair, Commissioner Martin?
Well, I would say that the usage was pretty much limited to that type of clientele. And I think Sherman was that, dealt with it periodically.
I think if
But the other thing is this liability thing. The fact that we know it's there, the fact that we know that somebody, first of all, that this is a party area, your children, my children are gonna go there. And the fact that we know that they can drive off and kill themselves, and we've done nothing to prevent that,
You're correct there.
sticks in my craw, and that's not why I'm sitting here. We need, if you're gonna open that park, you address those issues, in my opinion.
Yes,
The last time I drove through there, they had a snow fence up right where the spillway is, so people couldn't drive over that. The other thing a guy could do is put guardrail in, you know, this high with a cable. That's something kids probably wouldn't try to destroy. Snow fence, you know, your winter time will knock that over and stuff, but, the potholes, that was kind of a challenge whenever I drive in there on weekends looking for kids. They were all over the place.
I don't wanna sound like the villain in this thing, I'm only just saying that nobody uses that park more than I do. And I like the fact that it's there and that they put some fish in it, and it's, and I use it a lot. A lot of times I'm the only one there. So, yeah, if you can make it work and make it safe, I'm all for it.
I know Doug and I, we walked out and around there and we had talked, if we got rid of all the picnic tables, all the burn pits, and at least take that roof off of that bathhouse for now until we can figure out what we're gonna do with that bathhouse. Take all the stuff out of there, one truckload, we could get all the picnic tables, the burn pits, the swing set, turn it into a day use only, and
Well, I think that's one thing, there wasn't rules like that in place on it before either, there was no, you know, you didn't have no open burn, no, I mean, a day use only area, unless you're, you know, fishing or something, you know, some kind of activity like that. You put some of them rules in effect, that gives more, I mean, more authority. I mean, Josh or anybody, or I can go out there and they're not supposed to be in there, not supposed to be in there after a certain time. You know, you can put the no open fires in there. And then we
Yes,
can
and
do that.
we could easily put some posts with a cable along that one side there. And the signage was the other thing that we had talked about, is no hunting allowed in there, and no trespassing past different sides of it. We'd have to put signs on the north side.
The boundary's marked.
The boundary is marked all the way around it, but we was talking about putting some more signs along the south side, up against your place, Ronnie, there, so people wouldn't go past that way and get down into the school lands too, and say this is the park area, day use only, and remove all the hazardous stuff out of there. Then once you get that done, couple mowings a year would be all it'd have to do.
yes, Penny.
Is that vapor light still out there, or did Camo or no?
Canwall took all that out,
They did?
posted all.
Okay, because that was, they were supposed to, and I haven't been out there.
There's no electricity out there at all in the park, is there?
Well, there was, and
But
then
not anymore.
you guys fought me on the light bulb, so they took it all out.
Okay, so there's no electricity, there's no running water anywhere
No.
out there, so
It would basically be a parking lot, is that what you're talking about?
Pretty
Turning
much
the
just-
park into as a parking lot?
drive in there, park, and walk over that little bank, and you can fish right there by the dam.
Well, this where this drop off is, I mean, how wide is that? Is it just a road and then all of a sudden it goes, I ain't been out there since.
Probably
hell, it's
70 yards.
You come into the parking area, I mean, you come into the parking lot, and you got, what, another
70
35,
yards.
40 yards before you
Yeah.
get to that bank, and it's the overflow for the spillway is what it is. So there's probably a deep hole at the base of the spillway, and then it probably turns into 5, 6 feet of water, I would imagine, but.
So I mean, where a guy could just put a guardrail across there.
But, you know, it used to be a snow fence at one time, then I put the plastic one up. That was orange so you could see it, but then that didn't last in the winter. So that's why that's,
I guess my next question is, I mean, has there been a request to open that back up, or is that what you guys would
I
like to
had-
see done, or?
There's been people ask repeatedly why that road's shut going into the park. And it started the day the signs went up. Always get back, why can't we go in there anymore? I'd like to go in there and fish, or I'd like to go in there and look, or I'd like to go in there and fish. Most of it's fishing. I mean, I know there's groups of kids that go out there and fish now, and they can stand on the dock. That's all they got.
Yeah, and you need that catwalk,
But, I mean,
because these kids gotta walk across it, if the water's running over the spillway, they can't get over the fish off the rocks.
I think for limited, not much money, it could be fixed up pretty easy.
The catwalk that you're referring to?
Not only the catwalk, take a truck out there, get rid of all the picnic tables, the swing set, burn pits, turn it into day use only, no overnight camping or anything like that. It would be the same hours as Redheim, where you got your summer hours, your winter hours.
summer hours, yeah. April to
It's, our hours are pretty much the same.
6 AM to 10 o'clock out there at Redheim. And it's year round.
What do you think, Ronnie? That's your land, what do you?
Well, I think we should restore the whole damn thing. And have it for picnics, have it for church picnics and stuff like that. That's what it was designed for.
So you wouldn't have any problem opening it back up again?
Oh, I'd love to see it.
I think we're close enough that I can probably spare a loader for a day to run down there and do some cleaning up if need be, or loading the truck or whatever we may have, so.
That's about all we would need, to be a loader in there, wouldn't it?
Well, if we get to cleaning trees, we'll need a truck, to haul that stuff out, because you don't wanna pile that up down there. Or, yeah, come in and chip it.
Is there any sportsman clubs that would like to take on the,
Well,
I talked to the Selby one, they said that they could possibly furnish some man-hour labor to come out and help them. John Von Wald, I called him, he said they probably wouldn't put any money into it, but they would do some man-hours out there.
I mean, is there some trees, I mean, like I said, I haven't been out there since I was probably 18 years old. But what is there, some trees that need to be dug out too and stuff? I mean, removed that are overgrown?
A lot of them are overgrowing the road.
It's
We
just
can't
the
get a
ones
grader
along
just
the
one
road
there.
that would need to be trimmed back a little bit.
I mean, but I mean, trim back, would they need to be removed?
I don't think there's
There's
anything
mainly
that has
just
to
the
be
branches that
removed.
have grown over the road. I don't think the trees themselves need to be removed.
I guess I don't see why, if you can get some people together, why wouldn't you go forward with it? I guess that's how I look at it.
I've never been there in my life, so I've got no
I
idea.
used to
what
go
we're
fishing there when I was younger, but
And actually,
couple years ago.
driving into
Those
the
trees
lake,
have
you do the
died
same
since
thing
you
at
were-
Molstead right now. Different places, if you wanted to, you could drive right into the lake out of Molstead, or out of Hiddenwood.
I think I've only been there once in my life,
But
a long time ago too.
Hiddenwood would be about the same thing, where you could drive straight into the water. If you wanna be that dumb and try to sue the county. But it'd be easy to put up a guardrail on that one side. It's 50 to 70 yards is the only spot that it would be.
Some big treated posts.
I know for years the county had their annual fall picnic there. County, several counties gathered with Walworth County, and they had their picnic there.
We'll look into some grant funding too, see if there's anything available for park rehabilitation or whatnot. I think the state offers some stuff, but I don't know what all that entails, so.
I don't know, the way it sounds to me, that's what needs to be done. I thought that we just need to go out there. I would think we should be able to get enough volunteers to go out and help with that.
I think so. Especially if we could bring a loader out.
I got my loader too, Kevin.
Just because that structure.
But you're gonna leave the structure there that's there.
Well, I think we would have, the thing with the structure, we'd have
I've
to
never
take
seen maybe that loader get away
a
and
big
load the
look at that structure. I think to get it open, my opinion, to get it open, we'd have to take the roof off that structure just so it ain't gonna cave in, cause that roof is totally shot. Until we can figure out, is that structure worth trying to do anything with that structure? And we might have to get some building guy to go take a look at it, cause there's cracks in the two end walls all the way down. And I don't know if that would be structurally sound to try to save that or not. I don't know.
Well, it's gonna take somebody that's got some experience in it besides us to
Right.
figure that out. So
But to get it open, I'm saying, if we was gonna open it, I think we should take that roof off to begin with. 'Cause that roof is gonna go one way or another, even if it's gonna be rebuilt. That roof is totally gonna have to come off of there anyway. 'Cause there's no saving that roof. But then we could go from there to get it open, take that roof off. And there's,
You need a motion, you need to make the determination on whether you're going to start maintaining that and get a plan together on what you're going to do as far as the initial maintenance and preparation, and then what the continued maintenance is going to be. Get everybody on the same page as far as what they're going to do.
and.
Because basically, it's the counties.
But
Under the-
could you go back to the game fish and parks and see how much they would entail if we worked together? Who could actually have what responsibility?
I'm pretty positive to get it opened back up, I could get guys, let us bring some guys out to get it opened up. I'm not saying that we'll do the maintenance on
But
it.
like the mowing, you're mowing that north one anyway.
That's Dan.
Would you-
We could probably,
Would you swing
and
through
there
there?
again, being, normally we don't take care of anything that's not within our jurisdiction, but maybe we can work something out, I just have to kinda get the head nod. But I can bring it up to some of our folks, cause we're mowing over there anyway, and we spray, so we can maybe take care of some of that stuff along that roadway and that parking lot. I don't see it as a big problem, since we're there anyway.
Okay,
We'll pay, I was just talking to Mike here, we'll pay for the guardrail, we've got some money we can use to do for that. I'll take a look at the capital, I don't know for sure if that fits within our fund structure or not, but we can definitely, the guardrails fits in with safety on the dam that we've got the easement responsibility for, so we can justify helping pay for that, we're paying for that, and, look at helping out with some of the other stuff, depending on what we end up doing.
Yeah, you can use trucks from the highway department, we've got a chipper, that would be the easiest way to get those trees pulled down. You just run it through a chipper instead of trying to mow them.
Well, then it looks to me like it's just settled and just see what everybody can work together on.
I will tell you, the trees are probably gonna need to be cleaned up before you try and get the equipment in there. Because they are so overgrown.
I think just figure out when, well, you're talking to them all the time, Kevin, figure out when and see if we can round up some more guys. I mean,
we gonna need a motion to reopen that then,
I asked Jamie.
I would assume yes, because you closed it to the public, is that right, except for, because what did the last, when we closed it, what did the official motion say on that? That's what we need to check on, is find out.
I don't think I'd open it till all the
Right.
safety.
Absolutely, absolutely, but
But I think
you don't need a
Well,
motion on the
until
starting to
we
get the
can
plan
find out
together.
more,
until everybody can work together.
until everybody can work together, and I'll work with you guys to see when we could possibly do it, and try to get everything lined up on time frame to see, right, we can get the trees cut, go in, get mowed, remove all the stuff, and
Yeah, the trees is gonna be big. That's gonna be the big project, I think, is the trees.
would, probably be easier to put a gate in there for access, wouldn't it? For right now,
Would probably be a lot easier, that way you get in out there.
take that big barricade out of there and put a gate in there, so when we do go in there, you just have to open the gate up for now. Is that all right with you, Ronnie, or?
Well, that should be there so they will check the dam and that, until we get this all straightened out, yeah.
Okay.
It shouldn't take much, there's wire there, it's just a matter of hooking it up, making a corner.
I'm sure I could find the swinging gate,
They got a section of it to fill already too.
do you?
How far is it into there off the gravel road,
Railroad
off the
tie
main
that
road?
we could,
Is it like half a mile, or, I've never been there, so a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, around to a bunch of that, I think it's the 8 foot long,
we don't need that.
so swing out, we can look at it. I got a section.
Hey, you ought to bring your horse out, we'll go in there and take a look at it.
No, we'll just,
Let's just table it.
we'll table this until everything gets done and then we'll discuss the opening part. Right?
As long as the game fishing parks is here, I'd like to just, this is not related to Molstead, but there's another lake, Spring Lake, that is a lot more usage than Molstead Lake. Don't get me wrong, I'm in favor of Molstead Lake. I use it, and I'd appreciate anything you can do there, including taking care of the road to the north access where the boat ramp is on Molstead. But Spring Lake, there is a lot more usage there than there is at Molstead by far. And you don't have a boat ramp, you don't have a boat dock, you got people fishing off the highway. I'm talking about the south location. The road there is, access is pretty tough.
That road's getting rebuilt this,
So you have that in mind, right?
no, the materials are bought, they just gotta get in there and do the work.
That's good news, I appreciate that.
And Spring Lake is primarily private land around that, down the water's there too, so it makes it a little bit more difficult for access, so.
Well, then let's just stick to Molstead, then we'll just work at it that way, and then we'll address it when we feel all the things are done. Is that fair enough? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's go to number 10, or 9, I mean. No, Lyle.
I'm up.
Yep.
Greg, you wanna pass those out? Wait a minute, I guess I got them all here, don't I? Keep one back. I didn't keep one by myself. Okay, the first page that you see there is the adoption process. And if you'll notice, right now we're down on step 6. And step 6 starts out with county commission public hearing based on South Dakota codified law. And what you're supposed to do first is, I probably should start out by making sure, has everyone had an opportunity to look at the comprehensive plan? And so I'm assuming you have. So right now, what you're supposed to be doing as a county commission is taking comments from citizens about the comprehensive plan. If, at the conclusion of the comment period, then you'll find in your packet the resolution. And once the resolution is adopted, and then the minutes from this meeting have to be published. And once the and the minutes will be published once they're approved. So you're looking at 2 weeks from the day until they're approved. And then they're published, and then 20 days after the publishing, the comprehensive plan will go into effect. So we're probably looking at mid-September until the comprehensive plan has been approved. Then we start the process of adopting our ordinances. But even before we start the process of adopting the ordinances, we have to complete the map, where the zoning districts are. And I'm not sure, Jamie, where we're at in that process.
Pretty much the only community that wants to maintain that 3-mile barrier is Mulbridge. And Mulbridge city limits runs not a perfect circle around its city, so we have to get a map and basically plot out where we're going to be, because of legal descriptions aren't in a perfect circle around Mulbridge, so where that 3-mile line is going to be, because it's not gonna be just a perfect circle around the city, because you have parcels that are in and out. So we're in the process of meeting with the city to get that mapped out, that way we can incorporate that in to the plan, so we know what city of Mulbridge is going to maintain within their 3 miles, and what part is then within the county that is the county's responsibility under the county zoning. The rest of the communities, the only one I haven't really discussed much with is Selby, is we do not want to accept responsibility. We want the county, plus most of them don't have their own real zoning or things like that, so it really doesn't even apply. Well, I shouldn't say it doesn't apply, it's just that they don't have anything really to follow, because they don't even have their own ordinances with regard to zoning and things like that, so.
It's my understanding if they don't have zoning, they can't extend jurisdiction beyond their city
Correct.
limits. And in the case of Holben,
That's another issue, yeah.
we even struggled coming up with, in conversations with them, where their city limits were. And have you been able to meet with them or talk to them?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay, so they claim 3-mile jurisdiction, but they have no zoning. So these are the kind of things that have to be resolved prior to the middle of September. Not just resolved, but the map completed. So we cannot start the hearing process or approval process with the ordinances until the map has been completed. So, but that in itself is another subject. What we're here today for is a hearing on the comprehensive plan. And when we had our hearing as a planning commission, the only comments that we got were from Mulbridge about the 3 miles. And, you know, so it's not a perfect line for a city limit, and it won't be a perfect line for their 3 miles. Some places it might be 3 1/4, and some places it might be 2 3/4 that it extends out from Mulbridge city limits. The other thing I'll tell you that we need to do in the process, as a county, we need to meet with Mulbridge when this process is complete, and we need to be on the same page on fees. Because, you know, for example, within that 3-mile area, that really is county property, but should they be charged a different fee for a permit in there than they would if they were on the other side of the line, whether they're in the city limits or just in county jurisdiction. So I think we need some standardization there. And I guess that's my suggestion, and I guess maybe you want to talk to some of the other entities in Walworth County and see if they've got a fee structure for building permits. I think we should try and standardize as much as possible. Anyway, just some brief comments about where we're at with the process and what you need to be doing here.
I'd make a motion to approve the comprehensive plan.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Need a second? Got a second. Any more discussion?
I think probably the motion should be for the resolution, to adopt the comprehensive plan. I think it'd probably be the correct terminology. Is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
All right, I kind of thought that, I guess I misunderstood.
Some of us haven't had the opportunity or the interest in looking at that plan. But I do have confidence in the planning board that they have studied it, and I agree to all of the provisions in that plan. Is that true?
Well, I guess I'd be negligent in my duties had I not looked it over. I think what I would suggest, it isn't that long a document, it's about 20 pages. If you don't look at anything else, what I think is really important is some of the demographics in here. Because as you make decisions as leaders in our county, having an understanding where we're at, where we've been and where we're going, I think is pretty important as we move forward in the future. Whether it's population growth or you know, age of people, I think these are important things that the comprehensive plan addresses. So I would just encourage you to take some time to study it.
Now, this plan was put together by the board with the help of NECOG.
No, let's put it this way. It was put together by NECOG and we reviewed it. Eric Sanger spent quite a bit of time doing this, and I can't tell you how important he was in this process. Flat out, we couldn't have done it without him. And I really feel he has been a very important part of this. We're very fortunate to have him.
And NECOG is very knowledgeable, and this is one of the things that they do is.
A service.
As a service is put together these types of plans and things, but yeah, you're right, we couldn't have done it ourselves. NECOG is the main.
And what really helps is, you know, this isn't the first one he's done. And there's a lot of counties that he deals with that there's some pretty contentious issues that have been addressed in their counties. And so the comprehensive plan, I didn't expect much controversy, very many questions. We get to the ordinances, we could have some there. I've already had one contact dealing with wind energy. Greg's had one, but I also have had real concern about what direction we're going with our wind energy in terms of setbacks.
Is there any provision within that plan that you did not support?
That I could not support?
The commission did.
I didn't see anything, because most of this is informational.
Yeah.
It's just information.
So the board supports all that?
Yeah, I just don't see it. It's just a report about where we've been, where we are, where we're headed. But it really, these I don't think tend to be the contentious part of the zoning ordinance process. It's the ordinances themselves that can be.
And it'll be after we approve them, because somebody will not read them, and then
Right.
they'll go into effect, and then all of a sudden, I didn't know that you guys approved this. That's when we're gonna run into the problem.
Well, where we're gonna run into problems, just so you have a heads up, is probably on the setback requirements. Whether it be for somebody building a new shop, or somebody wanting wind energy, or somebody wanting confined animal feeding, a concentrated animal feeding operation. Or the penalties for not getting a building permit until after the structure's done. And those are the kind of things that you can expect to have problems with in the future. And that's where I really feel it's extremely important when we pass these ordinances, and it's gonna take us the rest of the year till we get through the process, that when the notices go out in January for assessments, I don't care what color paper it is, other than white, but the print's gotta be big. And it's gotta go out every year, talking about building permits and penalties and fees.
And we have to enforce them.
And
once they go
have to
into
enforce them.
effect.
We don't have the penalty, the amount so far, do we? We've got to get the.
That'll be in the ordinance,
Yeah.
what the
But
penalty
we've got to get.
Well, that whole structure, that whole fee structure is something, again, you know, when we start the process of adopting, then I think the fee structure, I don't think is part of the ordinances, is it, Jamie? That's
No.
separate from it.
The ordinance will have what the violations of the actual ordinance is, what that penalty's gonna be is in the ordinance. But what you're talking about is fees for building permits,
Right.
things like that. I think it's very important that once we start putting in dollar amounts, and like you're saying is we need to get somebody from Mobridge on board, and also when we pass our ordinances, it's probably good to get somebody from Mobridge on board too, so at least they're knowledgeable about potential problems and what we're actually doing. So they don't have, well, the city does this or the county does that, or in that buffer zone area of people picking and choosing or trying to manipulate
Right,
the ordinances between the city and the county.
exactly. I also think, you know, the building permits that are issued in Walworth County, 50%, maybe more, are issued in the city limits of Molbridge. And I haven't shared this with anybody, it's a thought that just came to my mind. When Cindy came to our last meeting, she is, for lack of better, she's a zoning officer for Molbridge, I don't know what her title is. My suggestion would be that, either as an ex officio member or as a member, that she should be coming to all our zoning board meetings. Because, of the issues that they're faced with in Molbridge. Having Harley on our zoning board, you guys would agree, is a big help. And I guess, and Harley was the former zoning officer. I would not mind having Cindy at our meeting. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
Greg.
Thanks for all your work on
Yeah. So Jamie will get used to me calling in the next 3 weeks. So we can, now, are we gonna sit down with you? When, are you guys gonna work on the map, or how are we gonna do this when you get Mobridge in or Holden?
We'll probably, with Mobridge, what the plan is, we'll sit down with City of Mobridge, have the map, and then get a tentative layout of what they want.
All right.
And then, because my view is let's let Mobridge make that determination of where the lines are, and then we'll come back and say, all right, does this look like something that we're
Okay.
acceptable to? And then come back and both sides would have to approve the map as what the 3 mile zone is for.
And Holden?
Well, Holden's gonna be a little bit more difficult, but yeah, I gotta get on them and try and do the same thing where we can figure out what the city limits is and what they want to do, and if they even can. Like you're
Well,
saying is,
this-
telling them that they can't do what they wanna do is probably gonna be a little difficult, but you just have to.
So you guys know the city of Holden owns property in the north side of Highway 20. But that, like Eric has told us, that doesn't mean it's in the city limits. Because the airport's owned by the city of Holden. It's not in the city limits. So that's been part of our struggle. They think they have jurisdiction beyond their city limits, but they have no zone. So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Nyla.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Should have my monthly treasurer's report. If anyone has any questions on it. There's like this. Are they in the? Yeah, they were in the bin. As you see the nose, I'll let you know that I'm working on tax deed property. Taking this property, I'm working on some lots in Java, a couple in Selby. Yep. So I got two different things there. There's, Mark Moss requested a payment plan, looks like this one, and the monthly report looks like this one. questions on the report?
Do you need these reports approved anymore?
I was under the understanding that yes, we should have a motion and have approved.
Alright.
Can't hurt.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report for Treasurer's Office.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I'll need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a second, any more discussion?
I know Nyla said something a few months ago that he thought that they should be approved every month for her audit.
Just something that's supposed to be, or?
Generally, you get your treasurer's report, like if you're a normal organization, a motion to approve the treasurer's report. So basically, I would assume we probably should. And it can't hurt you.
Okay, got a motion and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
So the partial payment, we had a request on property 5594. He's not here this morning, he had said that he'd be here. I guess we can go ahead and make the request, I talked to Jamie about it earlier. He was thinking like $150 or $200 a month. I guess, do you have anything to add, Jamie?
What's the total overages now?
As of the end of July, it was
42?
4,272.
So if we do 150, roughly around that 3-year time mark to catch them up.
It'd be a little bit more than that with the
With the
interest and the
interest
additional
coming in and
taxes
the,
too, right?
that's correct. But just to get the arrearages, just knowing that on that 3-year time frame. So if that's something you wanna do on the 150 or you wanna do more, I would say 150 is about as low as you wanna go. Or you're just perpetuating the system and we're gonna be spinning our wheels.
Personally, I'd just soon see 200, but.
What did he say?
It's up to you guys.
That's what he said, 150 to 200.
Then I guess
I
my,
would say 200.
200.
How does that work next year? Does he have to pay all of, or the taxes that are due this fall, is that included in this amount?
I did include all of this year's on this amount.
All of this year?
Next year's are not included. But the interest is not included in this. It's just interest till the end of July.
So would you wanna do $200?
It's about $30 a month.
I guess that's my opinion, I think we should
I
have
think $200.
Has he not made a payment in 5 years?
Oh,
Not made one payment.
we do also have some, looks like a fairly significant, lien too against the individual. It looks like it's pretty much, on the, criminal defendant end mainly for, you can look at this, so. I'll let you all look at that before you make your decision too.
Why has he been notified?
He gets the letters and some paper and
This
gets
is
the
what he owes us for.
And that's a breakdown of it. It looks like most of it's, medical while in custody, then court-appointed attorneys, and is that pretty much what it is, right?
County liens.
Yeah. Which is significant, so that's something you may wanna be aware of too.
What is the assessed value of this property?
$200 a month, ain't gonna.
Well, that doesn't even, that's just in taxes. This is what, in addition to property taxes.
Yeah.
5594.
Money that the county has paid for court-appointed attorney, medication while in jail, doctor's appointments while in jail, I believe, things like that. So you may wanna look at that before you make your decision. I think it's pretty good FYI that the auditor gave.
Thank you, Dale. Yeah.
What, is there structures and stuff on that property, or mustn't be much?
It's a house, it's in protection. It'll be up for tax recovery next year.
You know, the county, $26,127.
And that kinda makes it a little different, I would think.
Yes, that's why I'm glad the auditor pulled that. I think that kind of may change some of your views on things. And have we ever gotten any payment towards any of that? I don't think we have we?
If we have, there hasn't been much.
Because some of that's fairly old too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I would think we wanna proceed with take the property. I don't think we're dealing with a
That is,
responsible individual here.
that wouldn't be until next year.
Next year, right?
what we would want then is a motion to not enter into a payment plan through Treasurer's Trust.
I'll take a motion for that.
I so moved.
Got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
A second, any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Thanks,
Motion
Becky.
passed. Now, all them other properties, Nyla, when are we gonna go through that? Is that
I'm
again
working on those
September?
right now.
But I mean, when will that be, September, the ones that,
They have 60 days after I get the notice back from them. I've mailed them out.
you mailed them out
I
already?
haven't gotten any back yet,
Okay, when was the 60 days, when will that be done with?
after I get it back.
And then it's another 60 days after you get it, but I mean, how long after you mail it, how many days do you have?
Admission of service. After I mail it, if they do not mail it back to me, then I send it out with the sheriff. The sheriff has to deliver it.
But I mean, once, how many days after that are you saying, if you don't get it back to sheriff?
After the sheriff delivers it, then they have 60 days from the day he
60.
delivers it.
They can either sign an admission of service that she sends along, saying basically, I have received a copy of this and am aware. And basically, that's when the clock starts. And then when Nyla doesn't get that back, then she'll give it to the sheriff, and the sheriff will have one of his officers serve it on the person. That way, the deputy could state, I've served this person personally, and that starts the clock.
I give them about 2 weeks after I mail it. 'Cause of
That's
the
what I was
notices. Okay.
Because I had one individual talk to me about one property, asked me, he said, the guy approached me to buy my property. So that's why I'm asking that question.
All right,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, let's go to number 11. Did I forget? I did, didn't I? Josh.
Okay. Did some checking into the vehicle that we were talking about for Sioux Falls. That was picked up by Sioux Falls PD. They put money down it, so we lost out on that one. There was nothing else available in the state. We were checking outside the state. I did find a vehicle. Talked to several of you about. It's a Chevy Silverado, it's a new one, it's out of Texas, Aubrey, Texas. They will send it to you as a base. base vehicle with nothing installed in it, nothing, or they can do the full install and put the equipment in it there. When I was looking at my numbers for running as far as the cost of the installation and replacement of stuff, as of the day of the accident, I couldn't get any of the stuff to power up, the radio was out, camera was out, and radar would not work. We did have power to the vehicle. However, the insurance has been here, we're supposed to put a list of that together, running and the stuff that is not working on the interior of the vehicle. With the equipment in it, minus a camera, was 46. And with the camera has about $5,000 to the vehicle. They're not cheap. I'm gonna have to put that in here when I get in here, so it's a separate install fee. So $52,800 for the whole vehicle, everything installed. Get it.
Including the graphics.
Including what?
Graphics.
Graphics for the vehicle.
Oh, and yeah, on the outside.
And then they would ship it directly to us.
And then that shipping is included in that too.
Yes. And that was the 52.8 shipped here with fully equipped.
Cage and everything.
Yes.
Cage, light bar lights, radio,
Camera
radar,
system.
Camera system, radar system.
tonneau cover.
Does it have a backup in it too, where you can rewind and all of that stuff and,
You mean the camera?
yeah, like the storage?
It's an SD card storage. I went with the, because that's what we operate now, that's what works with our system, so I didn't want to, and it was more money for the other. I went with the least expensive camera, the other ones were $7,000 and $8,000.
And it is a special service.
So it's a speed reading.
Yes, special service for.
Yeah, tribal police order and also, North Dakota Highway Patrol by from that.
Four-wheel drive.
Yes. And I know there was a question on whether there was that was the only four-wheel drive that they had on the lot. They do get them in, but it's 3 to 4 months out before they have anything else on the lot. They have these pickups on hand. So that's why the Silverado, I just didn't go up and pick one. That's what they have with the four-wheel drive availability, so.
It sounds like you've done your homework, and you've been involved.
He's talked to me about
Yeah.
Cause how old's the equipment in the older vehicle? I mean, is it to the
It's
point
old.
where you don't want to continue installing it and, or replace
It's
it?
old because it's the camera's the same as what I'm using in my car right now, and the shelf life is pushing, which is usually about your 5-6 years. So it's pushing the shelf life of the camera system. I know the radios, they're no longer supported. I talked with Motorola, the current one, so we're putting the current upgraded version in there. We just have to it has to be programmed, and we have to send it to them, so. Because they don't have our channels. But, they don't support the radios that we have right now, so if it goes down, like the one in my car, they don't have parts for them. They don't service them. And they're a pain in the butt, they're expensive.
How old are those radios? Do you know, Sheriff Moore?
8 years old.
About 8?
5.
7, yeah, somewhere there.
Because we upgraded from the E.F. Johnson's. I didn't upgrade.
About 8 years old.
Yeah.
That's for a brand new one?
Yep,
That's
2016.
brand new.
So what are you asking for?
Commission approval to go ahead with this.
Oh, we gotta do something.
It sounds to me like he's done his homework, he knows what he needs. would say, go ahead and do
Is that a motion, Dwayne?
it, yes.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor.
I'll second
I guess, got a second. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we'll move to 11. Okay.
Those are all mobile homes that neither have distress mark inside or short off, and most of them were assessed in 15. That's when he was in the process of either moving them out of there or destroying them, getting rid of them. So in order to get them off of Nyla's books, we have to approve them. They all either were out of the county or destroyed.
Most of them are probably underground in the county.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, we gotta do them individually or?
Individually.
It's all on one form, so can you do it that?
I would do it individually for each record, that way you have, even though it's all on one form, but each property description, or number, or however you wanna do it.
Yeah.
Apparently they didn't pay on that one, that 640 for, you got it down twice here. 2011, 2015.
2011, that trailer house was gone, and then when we were going through all that stuff, when Roy died, somehow that one got picked up again and assessed in 15. It hadn't been assessed between 11 and 15. And they have that 300 number, that means they were all registered mobile homes, and that's why they get a distress warrant, because they're doing payable the year that they're assessed. So it's a little different than property tax, but that one just got picked up by accident, and it had been gone for a number of years. That's why they have that 300 number instead of a 4-digit record number, because they're registered homes.
Okay, I guess on the first one for 300640, I need a motion.
I so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say nay, motion passed. And then the same number 300640, I'll need a motion on that one again. I know it's the same record, but it's 2 different years.
I would just do it on each on its own motion, even though it's for each year that you're waiving.
Yeah, that's fine, just, so the first one, Becky put 2011, the next one put 2015.
I need a motion, I need a second. Any other discussion? Hear none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed. This is for 300622, need a motion for that? We got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
A second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say nay, motion passed. Okay, then for 300502, I need a motion.
I so move.
Got a motion, I need a second. Got a second, any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed say nay, motion passed. Okay, 300681,
I'll make a motion.
okay, got a motion for that, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed. Okay, then for 300668, I need a motion. Got a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say nay, motion passed. Old business.
Shane, do you address you guys?
You good there?
Hi, I just wanted to give you guys an update on that pickup. They did decide to get it all fixed and parts are ordered, so. I don't think we have more questions on that, and also too that there have been more complaints about like the vehicles only needs and everything, and trying to explain that the pickups been broken and stuff like that, so. Just wanted to give you guys an update. Do you have any
Okay,
more questions?
I just have one question, I guess, it kinda threw me, I guess, that when the weed board was here that day, unless I took it way wrong when they said not to spray Canadian thistle anymore, that's what I didn't quite understand. That's how I took it, I think that's how they said it.
When Ernie said that, he said along the main highway over here between Selby and Java, it's the state's job now, we didn't get the contract, it's the state's job now, but he did say that it's not worth spraying anymore, which is technically correct, and you'll have to wait for the weed growth now, but it wouldn't do much good, because it's already flowering and headed out, so. But it's still, I guess I still have been spraying the stuff that is headed out, just to burn it down and keep it kind of, hopefully contained.
Cause I mean, I lost track of the calls
Yeah.
on Canadian thistle, yes, Brenda?
I had asked the same question because I've been getting a lot of calls. I was told by, and I don't remember, I'm not gonna say what I was told by, because I don't remember the name, but, with Canadian thistle, if you don't get it sprayed in the spring, the best time to kill it is you spray it after the first frost.
So the fall application, yeah.
But you have to wait for that first frost,
Mhm.
and then it'll kill it. Otherwise, it doesn't do any good, it's just a waste of time and money to spray it now.
Mhm. It's such a root system that
Yeah.
you can kill it off in the roots, but a fall application after it's filled is the best time to do it because you can spray it off and then it'll root down and come back up. So a fall application is the best.
If that first frost isn't too severe.
Exactly. So it still has regrowth time to come back, yes. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on that parts are rooted, so hopefully.
What else did they find wrong with it? I mean, I think I heard that there was more wrong.
There was more wrong with it than
The U-joints, the radiator was.
the radiator was pretty much rusted, shot, so that's gonna go replaced. Yeah, it came up to like 31, a little over 3,100 to replace everything to go through that.
Not with that other, go back to the Canadian again, but like the people that you send letters out to, you say they got a year or something?
Well, with fall when we talked to Ron Mooring last year, or whatever, they did say the nuisance property or whatever, with a fall application, you won't know what kind of kill you have till the following spring, because to see if anything comes back. So what I was thinking about doing is making it till July 1st of next year, just to give them adequate time. If they don't have a fall application time, they would have a spring application time, because if it does freeze too hard, they won't be able to do anything this fall anyway.
I guess what I'm getting at is if it's obvious, some of the individuals, if they're not doing anything, already July had already gone by, I don't believe that come next July, nothing's gonna matter, so that's where I'm not quite understanding the time frame.
If a fall application doesn't work, they would have adequate time to do it back in the spring.
I'm
But
saying if
maybe-
a person doesn't do anything now,
Right,
what
so then
difference
maybe I
is it gonna
should-
make next July?
And maybe I should change it till June 1st.
I
You know what I
guess
mean?
I'm not understanding the time frame because
If you had June first, it would give you time to go out and spray it if you had to actually get a kill on it.
the time frame is just, to me, is not, that's what's not clicking up here.
Okay, and we can shorten that down to June 1st of next year too. But with a fall application, at least they would have time this spring if there was too much of a frost that would kill everything, that they'd have time to do it before it would be a nuisance property, before we could put it on their taxes, like we talked about last year with Ron Moore. If we'd hire a third party to come in and take care of it.
So to put teeth into that, what you told me is that you hire somebody else to do it. So wouldn't it make sense then just to put these people on notice and they can do their full application?
And that's what, and
If
I.
they want to, and if they don't want to by next year,
Then
then
will someone.
you will take care of it at their
Yes.
expense.
Yeah, exactly, and
So
maybe I
when-
should shorten it up to June first then instead of
So
July.
wouldn't that be the message
Mhm.
to me as a landowner, that,
Yes.
look, we know you've got the problem, looks like you're not doing enough to control it, either you control it or we will.
Exactly, yep.
No.
And let them do the application if they want to.
What about though, if, how do you just go to somebody's property if they absolutely don't do it? How does anybody else do it? We got that power to go onto somebody else's land and spray that off?
To abate the nuisance, yes,
Yes.
self-help.
So that's why we have in the publication of the two control.
It's, normally when you do that though, you take law enforcement with you. Like when you abate a nuisance property, like say a dilapidated structure, you'll let the landowner know and you take law enforcement with you.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is what if some individuals are organic and you can't spray there? Then what do you do?
I think what you do is you use the vinegar application, isn't it? Where you actually spray with the organic vinegar. Isn't that how that works, Shannon? And you correct me if I'm wrong,
And I,
but
you know, I'm not sure, but.
I know we had an issue with some organic farmers in another county, and what they do is they use, they don't use chemicals, they use vinegar, high concentrated vinegar to kill the noxious weeds.
That'll kill,
That'll kill the ground.
that'll kill everything else too, I think, doesn't it?
That's-
Pretty sure.
But that's how, that's my understanding is how you
Okay,
take
I
care
mean,
of
I just wanna
organics
know how that's gonna work.
with organic materials rather than,
Field up north there, that has lakes, so.
It does sterilise it.
I don't think we should get involved in telling them how to do it. I think we should be involved in telling them that they must do it. And if they don't, then we will. I mean, nothing more than that. I wouldn't go out and tell somebody to spray his field with vinegar.
But what I'm getting at more than anything is, let's say that you said that frost, the first frost is a good time to do it, okay? So they wait till then, and then you know that anybody doesn't do anything about it. So then you're still gonna wait till June? If they don't do it after the first frost, why would they do it in June, before June? That's what I'm getting at. If they don't do it at the frost, why would you wanna do it again by June? Because it's obvious if they don't do it then, they're not gonna do it at that time. That's what I'm getting at.
Benefit of the doubt, I think, is kind of what I was going for, just to give them a time to actually do it.
Along with that
Who
first
can-
frost, you gotta have some moisture.
because the plant's gotta wanna regrow, right?
Yeah,
That
it's
will
got to
grow
have something to
flat.
drink to grow. So, you know, just, yeah, after the first frost, if it isn't too hard and you got moisture, that's a really good time to do it, but this is another issue, you gotta have moisture, the frost can't be too hard. And then you get into CRP issues.
But as far as your summer date, yeah, you may wanna move that back. That-
Maybe move it up instead of,
Correct?
if you can do that, that'd be easier to do.
That way you still have some time, yeah.
Then we can actually try to do something next spring too.
Okay, that was just my concern, so. Anybody else have anything for Shannon?
All right.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Any other old business? Hearing none, new business.
They're putting in, redoing the floor, if that's what you're curious about, what all the noise is. They're redoing the hardwood floor up in the third floor courtroom, so.
Are they working on the elevator too?
Yeah, I don't know what he said.
I don't,
think
yeah.
he's using it to transport a piece of equipment.
So they're gonna do the back half that's all the hardwood, and Leah would know better too, but I think the plan is the back half with the hardwood, and then they're gonna lift up some of that carpet to find out what's actually underneath, and if it's hardwood, I think the plan is to, go back to hardwood underneath and not do the carpet. And if it's just where there's nothing, no hardwood underneath, then they're going to redo the carpet. It's kind of a multi-stage deal with the different offices out there and stuff, so.
Anything else?
Me and Penny's here. Penny, last night at the city council, they just wanted to know if we could get some speed limit signs on the Glenham Road going through town. Get some bigger ones and move them, because coming up from the south, you got the one by Kozel's place. You wanna know if we could get another one past the railroad tracks. Because people are flying up and down that road 60 miles an hour.
Going north to top. Yeah, we can put another one in there and they're not gonna be any bigger than
How
what
do
they
they
are.
work? How do they get from 60 mile an hour in there?
I guarantee you they do. From Highway 12 to the railroad tracks, they'll go 60 miles an hour.
But isn't there's a sign there now, isn't there?
There's one, as soon as you turn off of Highway 12, but I was thinking that one was too close to 12. By the time you turn, you don't see the speed limit. You want to get moved down and a little bit farther. But coming up from the other way, you got one by Kozel's on the south side of the tracks. There isn't anything from there till you get to the highway.
Does it drop down to like 30 at
25.
Coldwood Place or
25. It's supposed to be 25.
25 clear out of Coldwood Place? Well, I can see why nobody sold it up to that one.
Yeah, so once you get across that second track, the bypass track going into town, we was thinking if we put another one there, people would see it. If they're used to driving 60 until they get a few tickets, we got to talk to Josh about it too, but
I think, yeah, I was surprised when you said that the 25 cars were out there at Coldwood.
right before the railroad tracks.
We have a bunch of speed limit signs up in Casca, and they're, I think they're invisible. Because they doesn't make any difference.
I think the only way you're gonna stop that is if somebody gets a ticket.
Yeah.
You
They
can put
have
all the
to start running
signs up you
radar.
want.
Yeah.
There, kinda like right in the middle of that area, run it from the north
We
and south.
even had those speed limit deals where that they show how fast you're going.
Oh.
They'll slow down for that until they know nothing's gonna happen, and then they just.
Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, we can add a couple.
Especially if we could get one on the north side of the tracks
Yeah,
put in there.
yeah.
But I mean, is it gonna do any good to put more signs up? I think you're better off asking somebody to sit there for a while. I think that's all you gotta do is give a ticket, and I'm pretty sure it should end.
Kozel doesn't have to worry about replacing his tires, cause he's airborne and going over the tracks anyway.
No, there's lots of.
That's what I'm getting at, is, I mean, why would we wanna invest in more signs when we got somebody there that can do it without putting a sign up? It's a sign that
Yeah.
I would ask the sheriff to have deputies just run radar a couple times a week. That's gonna be your best shot at eliminating the problem, because if they know that it's being patrolled by the sheriff's office for speeders.
Well, there's stop signs at the railroad crossing.
Yeah, there's one there too, it's like, yep.
There's 200, I bet you're gonna have $200 at least into that sign. So I mean, I would think that asking the law to be there is gonna be a better, that's just my opinion.
You're right, it's, the best thing is once they know that it's being patrolled for speed, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes, definitely.
That, once people know that it's being patrolled, that's the best deterrent.
The only bad thing with that, you can sit there all day and have one car come through at 25, sit all day, and then the next day you're not there, and you'll have 4 or 5 of them doing 60, you know? And little streets and roads like that, those were hard to control.
It don't matter to me, but I mean, I just think we could waste money on a lot of signs, and
Well, it was more coming up from the south, waiting to have another sign after the railroad tracks.
Is there a stop sign at those railroad tracks?
Yes, sir. Both directions.
Mhm.
And you'd be surprised how many people don't stop. And then
They're
complain
gonna stick
about
it
how
too,
rough
and
the
I-
railroad
you-
crossing is.
Yes, that's exactly right, yep.
The only time they stop is if there's a train going through.
What's the commission wanna do?
They
I already told you my opinion.
Well, just let me know what you want.
It makes no difference to me, if the, I can see why no one would be slowing up to 25 on the south side of the overpass deal.
But once you get over the tracks.
Yeah, once you get over
There's nothing there to say what the speed limit sign, what the speed limit is.
But the speed limit before the
Would you be better off
tracks.
to move that sign to the other side?
I mean, if you got a stop sign there, I
No,
mean,
the
why do
speed
you?
limit before the tracks is to get you slowed down for the stop sign at the tracks.
But did you have
It doesn't, you know, they don't abide by it anyway, but that's the purpose of it.
But-
That's the suggestion.
Get them slowed down before the stop sign.
To me, I mean, that sign should be on the other side, because you're coming up to a stop sign. I mean,
That's what it is, where it's at.
yeah, I know, but I mean, you're supposed to stop there anyhow.
If you want northbound.
Then the speed limit should be, you gotta slow up for the stop sign. A normal
If not
person would.
stop.
I don't think anybody's stopping the signal. Few of us still slow up quite a bit.
You'd be surprised how many phone calls I get when that crossing was working. What are you gonna
I
fix
think
that
it would
crossing?
help to
Almost
put
right
one
by
on
my
the north side of the railroad tracks, cause there is nothing marked from there to the highway.
Rumble strips there.
What's the commission wanna do?
I told you what I wanted.
What would it cost to have a sign put up?
A couple $100.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what,
I think it's
get it done, charge it to the city of Glenham, and nobody wants to have anything to do with Glenham anyway.
I can't do that, that's county road.
The city will donate the money to get it done. If nobody wants to do it, I realize it's not a problem in any place else, but
Kevin, would it be, a solution would be to put one sign
just one
north
side.
of the railroad tracks?
Right, that's all.
That's
If you
what I
make the
said.
motion, I'll second it.
I'll make a motion to put one sign north of the railroad
I'll
tracks.
second it.
Okay, a motion and a second, any other discussion? My only thing is, are you gonna take the one from back there and move, or are you gonna put another sign?
Put another sign.
Another sign.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Anything else? Not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Got a motion, and a second? And a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.